Hi everyone, it's me! You clicked on the video. How's it going? Have any of you ever seen something that just pisses you off so bad that you can't stop thinking about it? That's how I feel with the Wuthering Heights trailer. I don't know who decided to say, you know what, let's make another Wuthering Heights movie and attach anybody but Robert Eggers to it. But I'm not here for it! Before I get into my critique on a film that hasn't even been released yet, let me list my qualifications for this first. I have an English and a film degree. Here it is.
So cool.
Son!
So cool. So cool.
Shut the fuck up, son!
So not only have I watched too many movies, but I have read Wuthering Heights like 4 separate times in college alone. And then like 8 times for my own viewing pleasure. I also don't fuck around with my Bronte sisters. Here's a photo of me with a quote from Jane Eyre on my grad cap. I'm not messing around with this one, guys. I'm passionate. So you mess with my 2 hyperfixations, the Bronte sisters and movies, and you get a very angry, potentially autistic person. There's a few really important things to note about Wuthering Heights before we really get into the criticism of what has been released for the movie so far. First of all, this isn't a romance. This is not a sexy romance. Yeah, like, yes, Heathcliff and Catherine are in love in the story, but the love is more so the catalyst for their inevitable downfall. The love for they have. Take that English degree away. I'm sorry, college, take it away. The love they have for one another is not a good thing in the world that Emily Bronte has built. I like to describe Wuthering Heights for people who have only ever sat through a basic high school English class and coasted by with a solid C- as The Telltale Heart meets The Raven but for yearners. And with that description, do you see why I said Robert Eggers should have been attached to this film? We all saw Nosferatu. That fucker wanted that cookie so bad. And we all wanted him. We all turned into monster fuckers for a second, didn't we? I want to suck your dick. What is the voice he does? It's the breathy like, I want. This is cringe. I'm stopping now. I'm so sorry for everybody watching this video today.
You must bow to the head. Crazy style.
Wuthering Heights was controversial at the time of its release in 1847 for things other than it being written by a woman, but they didn't know that. Emily changed her name to Ellis Bell to pretend to be a man. She's like the Mulan. She's like Mulan of 1847. It was controversial around its release for its topics and critiques of a lot of Victorian era moral standards, race, class, you know, things that are like, man, we don't talk about this anymore. It's outdated. The talk of wealth disparity. One of the first criticisms this movie received, like every other adaptation of Wuthering Heights, is the fact that they made Heathcliff white. Again. So they casted Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff, and what pisses me off about this very specifically is that if this was any other movie, if she was just out here to make her own original, sexy period piece with Jacob Elordi playing a Heathcliff style character, he would fucking nail it. Jacob Elordi would absolutely nailed it. He's proven time and time again that he can play this kind of character because it's the only thing he's ever cast as.
That's not something to be fucking proud of, Cassie.
I.e. Nate Jacobs in Euphoria, that one little bitch from the kissing booth, and Elvis Presley. But Heathcliff in the novel is described as a dark-skinned man, and the use of this word that I'm not gonna say, and I've censored it here. And if you've never thought that was a slur, if you saw the internet discourse over the quarantine time, and you're like, people are making a mountain out of molehill, I'm begging you to read this, because it's used the way they use the N-word. I'm begging you to read Wuthering Heights, because then you'd be like, oh, maybe this is. Maybe it is a slur. So while Heathcliff's ethnicity isn't explicitly stated within the novel, like we don't know exactly where he's from, the way he's physically described tells us he's either Romani or Indian, just because he's able to become a wealthy businessman in the 18th century Europe. This would have been a fantastic opportunity to cast all the Romani actors Marvel keeps shoving aside for whatever white boy of the month there is, but no! Emerald Fennell decided to do the exact same thing, was like, let's put the white boy of the month in here. He will understand the struggles of being a poor brown man. This really rich white dude from Australia. Heathcliff's racial identity is integral to the story at large. And this is something that every other Wuthering Heights adaptation has gotten wrong. And it is so fundamental to understand the importance of the story. If Catherine just denied Heathcliff's love because he was poor, that would have changed drastically. He could have done more to it. But there's so much implicitly implied within the book that's like, it's not just the fact that he's poor, it's the fact that he is brown and poor. No matter how much money he may possess, Catherine can never love Heathcliff because he's just not white. And that is a fundamental understanding and a fundamental aspect of the book that keeps getting overlooked. So like, what white actor can we cast today? The costuming for this is also all over the place. And I've heard from my friends that I went to school with that focused in costume design that period pieces are like straight up porn for them. Like this is the chance that they get to do something awesome because there's so many fabrics and patterns that they just don't ever get to use. And so why is this all over the place? I feel like the costume designer didn't know where she was. I feel like she didn't know what she was asked of. She was just like, make something vintage. And they're like, all right, I'm going to throw every decade ever at the wall and see what looks hot. Hey, maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe I'm being too harsh about it, you know? Let's actually take a look at the promotional material and the trailer and, see if maybe I'm being misled here. Oh. So this is the poster for the film, and it's giving Gone with the Wind, and I think that's what this promotional material, this poster is, I think, what's tripping everybody up, because they're being led to believe that it's not going to be an adaptation of Wuthering Heights because Wuthering Heights in quotations. Have you ever looked at like an old movie poster? They're all in quotations. She's not doing something like smart or unique here. It's just like that's how they did old movies. Okay. All right.
I can follow you like a dog to the end of the world.
What? What?
Huh?
Wait, I'm sorry. Heathcliff has like so many like romantic. Wait, no. Heathcliff says some really like romantic shit in this book. I'll follow you like a dog till the end of the world. Weird. What the fuck?
Fall in love.
Oh no! Why is this giving like... Why is this giving like master-slave fantasy? What is happening? Oh god! There's like a reason. Like, there's a reason that like their relationship isn't so overtly sexual in the book for like multitudes of reasons, but because it's icky. This is icky! What is she doing? What the fuck is that? What is this? That's not a scene in the book, guys. I can confirm that King Catherine does not finger a fish's mouth in the book. What was that with? I believe it's supposed to be the daughter, Kathy. What is she crawling on the floor? I'm having a meltdown. What is this?
Do you want me to stop?
That last shot is probably like the only one that I think would work in any adaptation of Wuthering Heights. Like them holding hands like at a distance. I think that's like a good shot for the movie at large. What are the comments saying? I'm kind of intrigued. The internet didn't exist just to see the essays from book from the students that only watch the movie. Please, it's really funny. This does not scream whatever our souls are made of, yours and mine are the same. That is so true. That's like the whole point. Like, they are soul tied. They're intrinsically soul tied. I didn't know Wuthering Heights was the 4th installment of the 50 Shades of Grey franchise. This does not scream, you said I killed you, haunt me then. Take any form, drive me mad. Only do not leave me in this abyss where I cannot find you. That is so true, and that's one of the reasons I said Robert Eggers would be such a good director of this movie. Because, like, Catherine is supposed to haunt the narrative. She is, like, this ghost that is in every crevice of Heathcliff's mind. She's everywhere. Like, she's the OG haunting the narrative. We all watch Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. No, Lucy Gray Baird. Catherine! Maybe I should be fair. Maybe I should be a little bit more fair to this movie, because trailers can be misleading. That's a whole video for another day, but like, trailers are a lost art form. So I know they had a pre-screening recently, so let's kind of, let's see what the general reviews are saying, because you know what, this might be really, really good, and I might just be an asshole. An early test showing of Emerald Fennell's forthcoming Bronte adaptation suggests the unfinished film features horse rain sex, suggestive egg yolks, and necrophile nuns. That doesn't happen in the book. Wait, what? Wait, this can't be fucking real, right? This is like a prank article? This is a prank article to target specifically me, right? The article link is down below, by the way, in case you want to, like, read the whole thing and don't want me just cherry picking. You don't want to just hear what I cherry picked. A first screening of the film took place earlier this week in Dallas, and an audience reaction was mixed. I can't imagine why. Another attender described the film as aggressively provocative and tonally abrasive. I don't know if I'd want anyone describing any film that I would ever make that way. Those feel like insults, do they not? And suggested it strongly recalled the stylistic depravity of Saltburn. I wasn't a huge fan of Saltburn, actually. I'm not a big fan of any of Emerald Fennell's work because they feel provocative just to be provocative. Like, the provocative scenes don't tend to make much sense. Like, the Saltburn bathtub licking scene, like, added nothing to the story. It was just there. Scenes of clinical masturbation, a bondage-tinged sexual encounter involving horse reins, and less conventional romance or emotional complexity than many aficionados of Emily Bronte's novel might expect. Dude, what the fuck? What? Wait, who was asking for this? Part of the reason people love Wuthering Heights is because the emotional maturity it takes to understand that novel is intrinsically complex. Like, the amount, it is beyond, you know, oh my god, we're in love and we gonna have sex, we can't touch each other. It's like they can't touch each other or love each other for a multitude of societal reasons that become a commentary on the society at large. And honestly, that kind of narrative would have been perfect for today's climate, because there's so many things and so many things to critique about modern day society that is still prevalent in these novels. Like, things just haven't changed. There's so many people in society, especially in American society, that are systemically displaced because of their skin tone, which is the entirety of Heathcliff's character. That would have been a perfect thing to comment on and a perfect thing to do, but no, you had to turn it into whatever the fuck orgy thing you want to have, Emerald. I dropped you! You didn't survive all this for this. The film reportedly opens with a public hanging in which the condemned man ejaculates mid-execution. What? The crowd reacts orgiastically and a nun fondles the corpse's visible. What? Okay, Wuthering Heights aside, take this being an adaptation of Wuthering Heights aside, who wants that in a movie? Who wants, you know what, I can't imagine. You talk about some really great opening scenes in movies, that's gonna be up there. Nun jacking off a dead body, yay. What is this? Who wrote this? Who added this to the script? Are they on an FBI watch list? They should be. Speaking at the Sands Film Festival in Scotland, Cochrane, who is the casting director of the film, said that there was no need to be accurate, as the source material is just a book. You need to be taken out back and shot. Seriously, gun to your head, firing squad, shot. Just a book? Actually go fuck yourself. Actually go fuck yourself. Especially when speaking about a female writer at a time where it was like frowned upon for females to be able to read, let alone make books and write books. The Bronte sisters publishing their books even under male pen names was a complete rewiring of society, especially in the 1800s. Women writing or reading was considered obscene and abhorrent. So to not only to be critiquing novels and your source material as just a book, but doing it with a female writer of such eloquence and such importance is absolutely fucking disgusting. You know what? At this rate, it's just a movie. No one should care about your movie because it's just a movie, so nobody gives a fuck. Like, what is your point here? What is the point here? I don't get it. Like, this is somebody's art. Novels are art. All books are art. And I always said that. But this is somebody's life work. This is somebody's penultimate creation. This is their magnum opus. This is a woman's mark on history, her pride and joy. And for you to ejaculate and shit all over it and be like, well, you guys shouldn't be that mad. It's just a book. Kill yourself. And it's the same people that aren't mad about this that got really, really up in arms when pixels were made to be brown or black in movies. Source material only matters when it upsets like the general weirdo white people, huh? She continued, there's definitely going to be some English lit fans that are not going to be happy. It's me. She's talking about me very specifically here. She didn't write it in the it's not included in the article, but it's like, especially that bitch Hannah Grossenbacher, fuck her, I hate her and her stupid ass I love for Wuthering Heights. Wait until you see the set design, because that's going to be even more shocking, and there may or may not be a dog color. And oh, go fuck yourself. Oh, go actually fuck yourself. Stop making movies for your weird ass fetishes. Actually go kill yourself. I'm sorry. A character that that is Heathcliff, that's supposed to be a man of color, and you're comparing him to a dog or an animal. Yeah, there's a, you know what, now I know when I see the vision they had for this film, and they wanted to make him an animal and they want to make him a fucking dog. Yeah, and now I know why they casted Jacob Elordi, because they would have been beaten by anybody else if they tried to make that a brown man. I get it now, actually. I see the vision. Combating your own internalized racism with more racism. I got it. I understand you. You can tell when an adaptation loves the source material that it is based off of. And I think that's why this really specifically pisses me off. We're coming off of a really hot train of book to movie adaptations. I think my best example though of this, the film being a love letter to the source material, is Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. And I mentioned Robert Eggers very briefly earlier in the video, but I think his 2024 adaptation of Nosferatu is undeniably a perfect adaptation. Not only does it take the original silent film from the 1920s, but it also adapts some aspects of Dracula that weren't exactly put in the original film, but are so intrinsically important to telling the story, and it just makes this delicious, beautifully, visually stunning piece of media. It feels like when you read Dracula or when you read traditional Gothic literature, it feels like it's oozing out onto like that energy is oozing onto the screen. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is actually my most anticipated film of 2025. Every shot, every angle, every spoken word drips the energy and world Mary Shelley so carefully crafted. And Mary Shelley is someone I'm also very defensive of, because that's the mother of science fiction. It really feels like every single page has sprung to life on the screen in a visually interesting and captivating way. I know exactly what each scene is. I can see the pages of the book in my head as I'm looking at the screen, and I'm seeing each scene and every moment unfold. Ironically, Jacob Elordi is in this film too, and I'm actually unbelievably excited to see what he can do with Frankenstein's monster. There are two Stephen King, technically Richard Bachman book to film adaptations that are coming out also within the next couple months. The Long Walk and The Running Man. The Long Walk, directed by Hunger Games director Francis Lawrence, really understands the energy the book was trying to convey. The fact that it starts out with this very Boys of Summer-esque attitude, everyone's happy, everyone's kitschy, they're camp, and then the second the first boy falls, it just becomes so sinister and scary. And Mark Hamill as the Major really exudes that presence. You know, just like Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, I can see every single page on screen. I can see the words from every scene. It's just a perfectly crafted adaptation on screen. And obviously the film hasn't come out yet. I might change my mind after I see it, but it's my favorite Stephen King book, so I doubt it. On the opposite end is The Running Man, directed by Edgar Wright, who also directed Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, so this already gets me really excited. And this one has a very different energy. It's lively, it's exciting, while Glenn Powell's performance is so grounded. It's very reminding you of the reality of the situation that he's in, that his life is on the line, his entire life is on the line, his family needs him, he is in a dire situation, and everybody around him is partying it up and is so happy to potentially kill him. It's flashy, it's bright, and a much more respectful adaptation compared to whatever was going on in the 80s with Arnold. Speaking of Stephen King, he's actually a really great jumping point to say that it is okay to be unfaithful or change stuff from your source material if it's going to make for a better film. You know, for example, The Shining has a completely different ending in the book than the movie does, and the film ending is significantly better. Christine and the film Christine are two completely different stories simply because all John Carpenter had to go off of was the original Christine manuscript, and yet it still understands the core energy of Christine. My favorite film of all time is Jaws, and the book and the movie couldn't be two completely different stories. While the film focuses more heavily on the man versus nature aspect of it, and it completely takes away some of the stuff that I think doesn't matter. It makes Hooper, Brody, and Quint much more likable characters. It removes the weird affair between Hooper and Ellen. It makes Quint a more likable guy. It takes away the mafia, and it really focuses so heavily on the shark, which is like, yeah, I want to see the shark. It's like, I'm not reading Moby Dick to see anything but the whale. You know? I want the shark. That's what I'm there for. And also making Quint a lot more likable gives us the iconic SSS Indianapolis speech, which I saw Jaws in theaters with my friends because it's my favorite movie, and she didn't like that part of it. I felt personally attacked by it. All this to say, if the changes strengthen the film, I don't think they're necessarily a bad thing. Psycho, The Godfather, Doctor Strangelove, Die Hard, Matilda, and Forrest Gump are all examples of films that are better than the book because they made different changes that were better suited for an audience at large. Wuthering Heights, though, is whatever Emerald Fennell was horny for at the moment and decided to force Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie to just do it for her own viewing pleasure. Thank you all. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, thank you so much. If you didn't, go pick up a book. I actually have to go. I have a really great idea for an Animal Farm adaptation where it takes away, it's really poorly animated and it takes away any of the political allegory of what? That was already done? Wait, what? That was already done? Andy Serkis already did that? Wait, this was supposed to be a bit. Wait, that was supposed to be a joke. That wasn't supposed to be... Somebody already did that? Bye.